Hello, I'm Dan Toppy and welcome back to another brand new Fortnite video. Today I just want to talk about all the changes Epic are making to the game in Season X and why they're not really a great thing for the game, and also what they've said so far about the Brutes. Those people are asking for them to be removed from the game completely, and just today they've actually released a full statement talking about what they're planning on doing with them in the future, and I'm going to cover that in this video as well. So the first change they made this season was that Tilted became Tilted Town with no building. For me personally, I don't think this is really that much of a bad thing because I do like more basic style of gameplay. Lots of players don't like this, they really like building, they rely on building to win their fights because that's what they've really got good at whilst they are playing. And Tilted was one of the biggest locations on the map, so now people don't like that they can't go there. Now they have made it no buildings, they just want to keep on building and playing like they always have done for the last 2 seasons. Then they added in the Brutes. These being a huge issue to the game, completely changing the way that it's played. Loads of players have said they didn't like it, and it just gives a few players an advantage in every single game. It gives them a massive advantage just because you have 1,000 health on the Brute. Does loads of damage, it completely counteracts any building players can do. There's no way to actually counter players who are using them. Unless you do have a boogie bomb, then you can throw that at them and it takes players out of it. But you don't want to always be taking up one of your slots, carrying these around just in case you do come across a Brute in game. They also allow you to harvest materials extremely quickly. You can get 1,000 wood in about 30 seconds if you just go and stamp down a few buildings. So it is a massive advantage to players who do find them just for that. You can get all of the materials that you need for a whole game in about 30 seconds. You can move across the map really quickly, completely counteract anyone who's building. And they're in arena and competitive, which makes no sense because the Brutes are in no way a competitive item in the game because there's no way to properly and reliably counter them. And like I said, Epic have released a statement which I'm going to talk about a bit later on in this video, what they plan to do with the mechs going forward. But after the mechs, in an update just a couple of days ago, they re-added in Retail Row, which would have been great as this was one of the best places on the original map. But Epic decided to make it a rift zone with zombies in, and there's no actual benefit of the zombies being there. They don't drop weapons and they hardly drop any items. So really by going to the new Retail Row, you're not actually getting any benefit from the zombies being there. It's just more risk and it makes it harder to play there. You've got all the zombies chasing after you, as well as players there trying to third party you, because essentially the zombies are like a player. And whilst you're distracted trying to fight the zombies and get away from them, other players can get a really easy kill on you whilst you can't really defend against them at all. So basically they've just made another change to the map and made another location that you don't really want to play in. Mega Mall was one of my favourite places to land before. It was a new place which was really fun to land in. There was loads of loot there, loads of players went there, you have some really good fights there. Now they've got rid of that, added in Retail Row, which would have been good, but because of these zombie changes, it's now made it pretty rubbish. There's no purpose of going there and just makes it harder to win games if you do go and land there. And it's the same with a lot of the areas on the map now. You've got the snowy area, which is pretty boring except for shifty shafts, so not many players go and land there. You just get pushed there towards the end of the game, sometimes depending on the circle. Some players now try to avoid tilted towers because they want to build, so they try and play everywhere else other than that. People avoid the northwest of the map as there's not much there, and because there's hardly any mobility items in the game anymore, it takes you ages to rotate back into the centre of the map, so you can either get caught in the storm or it's just a really boring long run to get back into the centre of the circle. And up in that corner of the map you've also got a block which obviously changes every single week, so you don't really know how to play it properly, and if you are trying to play competitively and get those wins, you want to land somewhere that's reliable, you know what's there, you're not just guessing when you land there trying to find some loot. Lone Lodge is also generally pretty quiet, not many players like to land there, just again it's kind of out of the way. The new Retail Row, like I said, is completely pointless because the extra risk with no extra benefit. So the only main places where people tend to land is the centre of the map, right down the middle of it, or in Fatal Fields or over by Paradise Palms. And now that another Rift Beacon has been found over at the indoor soccer fields, this is another location which will most likely be turning into a Rift Zone and will have something weird added to it which makes players not really want to land there again. The game was great when the World Cup was on, everything was balanced, the map played well as a whole, there was no major issues. Now it seems like they're going back on everything they've done to make the game great. They only made those changes to really benefit themselves, to make the game look great when it is on that massive tournament in front of millions of people, and to make it play well so the pros weren't complaining about it at the same time as the tournament. But now the tournament is done, they've got a year until the official World Cup does happen again, so they can mess around, add all this rubbish into the game, make it the game that they wanted, which is more like creative ultimately, because our studio which created the creative game mode in the first place, so obviously they do want it to be a bit like that, a bit like the base game which they created before they made the Battle Royale version. But I think they need to realise that's not what the game is now, and they can't keep massively changing the game every single week. Now they've released a massive statement talking about the Brutes, basically saying that everyone's complaining for no reason, and that they're completely balanced. I'm going to read out that statement now and talk about it and give my opinion on what they've said. So the statement says, "We've heard the frequent discussions, hashtag remove the mech, about the Brute and decided this to be a good opportunity to explain the Fortnite philosophy. The mission of Fortnite is to bring players of all skill levels together to have a fun experience where everyone can win. For example, everyone having a shot at their first elimination or victory royale moment, and the satisfying feeling that comes with it. Right now we know there's players out there who've never had the opportunity, but really basically what they're saying is they want to add things into the game to allow everybody to win a game, which isn't really the point of this game. You should get good at the game, learn the game, and eventually you will be good enough to be able to win a game, get all those kills that you want to get, and eventually you will earn it. They shouldn't be adding things into the game just to let people get wins because they're not good enough to actually win it. Another part of the mission is to provide spectacle and entertainment when playing Fortnite. Bringing these moments to the game every week means there's always a new way to enjoy and experience the game. Yes, I get that they want to add things into the game to make it interesting, to get loads of people talking about the game, but they can't keep changing the game massively every single week, so as players have been working to try and get really good at one thing, then all of a sudden that doesn't matter anymore, or the work they've put in doesn't matter, because there's a new thing in the game which completely counteracts everything they've been working to get good at. The next part of the statement says the Brute was added at the start of Season X with those missions in mind. Since then we've seen players who had previously struggled with getting eliminations acquire more, while the number of eliminations earned by more experienced players stayed steady. And they also include some graphs showing the effect the Brutes have had on the number of kills per game. These are on screen now, but I'll talk about them a bit more at the end of the statement. We're happy with the results, and this should be shown in the graphs of the current state of the Brute eliminations across both Arena and Core modes. We regularly have and will continue to release content that shakes up gameplay in Fortnite in unexpected ways, but committed to providing constantly evolving, entertaining and fun experience for all players. But I think the point they're missing is that having an average of 6 kills per game that couldn't be defended against, and the person being attacked could do literally nothing about is way too much. In every single fight you should always have a chance to defend yourself, and when you've got players actively self-destructing the mechs to stop players from using them, this will definitely bring down the stats that they're comparing them to, and the real amount of kills that players are actually getting per game is going to be way higher, and the really good players can be getting 15 to 20 kills in a game with the mechs. Epic put up the prize pool of $400 million to make this a properly competitive game, so they should at least try and make the game competitive in all aspects of it, especially for the professional players who are now relying upon this game to make their money, and they should be making a game which the whole community enjoys, not just a game which makes it easy. It seems like the community and the developers have a different idea of what they want this game to be, so the community aren't really happy with what the developers are doing with it at the moment. I tweeted about this yesterday over on Twitter, so go follow me at DanToppy, but I tweeted saying that back in Season 3 and Season 4 they would remove the mechs straight away after the people weren't happy with them, because this is what they used to do back in Season 3 and Season 4. As soon as they added something into the game that people didn't like, be gone the next day because they just wanted to make everyone happy. Now it seems it's more about money, and they're adding this in just to get the massive PR campaigns up, getting everyone talking about them just like I'm doing now, getting everyone aware of the game again, and then once they do finally remove them, there'll be even more videos talking about it. It'll get them even more free publicity, and it's just going to massively help their game actually get advertised out there. But it's just leading to them making a game that the community as a whole don't really like. But let me know in the comments down below what you think about all these changes they're making in Season 10, whether you hate them as much as I do, loads of the professional players, loads of the massive streamers do, and pretty much the whole community I think don't really like what they're changing to the game. But if you do like it, make sure you let me know down in the comments down below and tell me why you like it, because I really don't see why they're making these changes. I think the game's going way downhill. They should have kept it a lot more how it was when the World Cup was out. Keep it all steady constantly and let players just develop their skill naturally throughout the game, keeping the game fairly consistent all the time. But if you have enjoyed this video, then please make sure you leave it a like. If you're new here, make sure you subscribe. Like I said, make sure you go follow me over on Twitter at DanToppy, because I'm going to be tweeting a lot more about Fortnite, retweeting all the Fortnite news as soon as it comes out before I can get to making a video. So if you want to know everything about Fortnite straight away, make sure you go follow me over there. On screen now is a link through to my 2 playlists. One is my weekly challenge guide, so if you are struggling with any of the weekly challenges so far, make sure you check that playlist out. And the other one is for the weekly bonus stars. If you want to know the 2 locations of the first 2 weeks of bonus stars, I'll make sure you check out this one if you haven't got them already. But thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.